everyone. My name is Chloe, and welcome to another TGI Friend Day. So, Bree is one of the victims of my carelessness. And so, we have done this chat once. So, this may look a little bit different, but Bree is also about to celebrate her 2-year anniversary. It's this week sometime. So, that's why we're doing it now. And Bree is like, I just can go on and on and on about her. And a lot of you guys came to me from her, so you already know her, but she is just wonderful. She and I read some really similar stuff, some really different stuff, but I relate to her so much on a personal level. And she's just so like kind and soothing and wonderful. Like, I don't know anybody who cannot relate to you in some way, Bree. You are just a wonderful, wonderful channel, both for life and books. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
So, like she said, I'm Bree. My channel's in Love and Words, and I read mainly romance. And we do have a lot in common, like we contemporary romance. And there are some women's fiction. Like I think you read more women's fiction-y stuff than I do, but we have some crossover books that we both like. We both love Brittany C. Cherry.
Yes.
I do read some like darker, taboo romances, smutty romances. I went through a phase like right before Christmas where I had a week long of reading ridiculous Christmas smutty romance.
Love it.
It was ridiculous.
I love it. Like I live like vicariously through you because I'm like, I don't think I could ever do that, but that's hilarious.
I don't necessarily recommend it, but it was fun at the time. I think next time I might just do a weekend because a week was
it's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, I do a lot of rec videos and stuff.
Yes.
On Instagram too.
Yeah, and you do really all of it. You do rec videos, you do vlogs, you do hauls. This lady, she does monthly, is it monthly ebook hauls?
I do a monthly ebook hauls because I download so many free ebooks. It's a problem.
And and like I need to stop watching them because they like are free book hauls or like if they're anything, they're very cheap or Kindle Unlimited or something. And so I get on those and I have to like save them until I can have another screen open and just like click. Thanks, Bree. But they're great. So, and yeah, you're in Love and Words on Instagram, also on Etsy, which you guys, let's just stop for a second. Bree sent some stickers and I cannot wait to use these. She has a sticker shop, scrunchie shop, just all the great things. So, that's enough about you. Let's talk about reading. How did you get into reading?
So I grew up around books because my mom is a huge bookworm. I just always grew up with her, like sitting around and reading and just being around books. And it was one of those situations where when I was growing up, like if I asked for a toy at the store, my mom would be like, why do you need that? You have a lot of toys at home. If I asked for a book, she would buy it for me. Like no problem. From the time I was like a child all the way up until I was like in college, even to this day, like half of my books bookshelf.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. I have heard a couple people say that, and that is like good parenting advice, like to just load them up, like let the bookshelves be everywhere and books in every room and
books everywhere.
I love it. What did you want to be when you grew up? Do you know?
That's a good question. You know what? I wanted to be, when I was younger, I wanted to be a writer of some sort. Like I wanted to be a journalist. First of all, I remember when I was like, I think I was like maybe 10-ish and we had our like first computer. I made a family newspaper. It was the Family News. And I'd be like, my big brother's doing this, my big sis. And I like would distribute it to everybody.
How cute.
And like, I didn't know how to insert pictures. So I cut out pictures from like magazines and put it in there. But I used to distribute it like every couple of months.
Do you have any of those?
I don't. I wish I did.
I know. I wish you did too. That would be so fun to look back on. So
I would write like little stories and stuff and have my mom read them and everything.
Yeah. So your mom's a big reader and you've talked about your dad a couple times. And so you started, well, I don't know if you started it, but the kombucha challenge, is it kombucha? Kombucha challenge on Instagram. And that went crazy. A lot of people did that. I think I want to start a campaign to see your dad on BookTube or to see either of your parents on BookTube.
Do it. I've been begging him to come on my channel.
I love that because your dad reads cowboy romances and that
millionaire romances. He loves Megan Quinn. Megan Quinn is #1 right now.
Okay.
But Mariana Zapata, those are his top two. Mariana Zapata and Megan Quinn. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm actually this week, and I just ended the vlog now, but this week I'm reading his favorite romances from 2020 because his birthday's coming
Oh,
up.
yeah.
So I'm going to publish it the day before his birthday.
How
But
funny.
I've been trying, like, I have called him almost every day this week because I've been talking to him about the books. And I'm like, please, like, come
Yes,
on, just for this
yes,
video at least.
yes.
And
And
so,
but tell us why he doesn't want to do it.
because he doesn't want to be an influencer. I'm like, shut up.
I heard you say that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." He totally would too, though. He would catch on like fire. Everyone would love him. That is so funny.
I don't think you have to worry about that. You're fine.
I don't know. So it's about to be your 2-year anniversary. Why did you start a booktube? And did you start what with all the social media regarding books, what did you start first?
I started a blog first. Well,
Okay.
I was in Goodreads first and I was like writing
Sure.
reviews and stuff there. And then I decided to start a blog. And so I made like, it's called In Love and Words. And so I wanted to start a blog that was strictly romance because I felt like everyone's reading YA fantasy
Yeah.
and YA and stuff. And I was like, but I want romance. Like I want
Mhm.
romance writes.
Yeah.
So I started a blog to do that. And I just wanted to make friends with more people who read the same types of books that I did.
Yeah.
And then I was watching BookTube at the same time. And I was like, I wonder if I could do that. I think at first I wanted to do like a podcast because I didn't want to show my
Yeah.
face. Because I felt
Yes.
I didn't look like the other people that were on there. I
Yep.
felt like I was older than them, and
Mhm.
I wasn't blonde and skinny, and I wasn't
Right.
crazy, and
Right.
so I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think I can do this. But then I started discovering more and more booktubers who were just more relaxed, and I liked those type of videos a little bit better.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, you know what, I think I might try this, and then I did. And I honestly, like, when I joined, I really never thought I would get more than like 100 subscribers, if that. Like I was so excited when I had 100 subscribers. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't believe 100 people watch me.
I
Like why?
know. Yeah. 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 I know. No matter what the number is, I still think that like, why do people watch this? I don't know.
Like I do it more for, but then, I started making friends with other people in the community, like because of Bree Hill. She's the one who invited
Yes.
me into like a little romance chat and everything.
Yep.
And that's where I met you.
Yep.
And it became, especially this year, I think, because we had a lot more time to like hang out and spend time with each other
Yeah.
virtually. It
Mhm.
just became such a big part of my life. And now
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know what I did before
Yeah.
because I have like 2 friends that I'm close to in person, but I have a lot of acquaintances and everything, but no one that I really talk books about.
Yeah.
Like my one friend, she reads a lot of sci-fi and stuff. So we talk
Mhm.
about books sometimes, but aside from like my sisters and my mom, I didn't really have friends that we could like
Yeah.
rapport about books.
Yeah. Well, and when you read like we do, in the quantities that we do, like that's a lot of your free time. So like if you can't talk to your friends about it, then it's like, what do we do?
Right. What do we talk about?
Yeah, what do we talk like kids, food, like that's about it. So
Exactly.
yeah. So then you did BookTube and then Etsy and Instagram. When did that
Instagram,
come?
I think I started my Instagram when I had my blog, but I never really updated it because I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do with it. I didn't really
Yeah.
get it. And I was like, I don't want to spend like 8 hours taking one picture. So,
Yeah.
because I felt like that's what you had to do. The only
Yes.
pictures I ever saw were these elaborate, like huge.
Really, yeah.
But I think I finally got like a groove of it. And I kind of just take the same 3 pictures with different books.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it though. Like you get what works and yep.
Mhm. But I think I found my flow with Instagram a little bit better. And then Twitter, I joined a little bit later. But yeah, I think my main ones now are BookTube and then Instagram. And I haven't uploaded my blog, but I want to start doing that this year. That's one of my
Yeah.
goals is to keep that updated again.
Well, and like we have talked about, like one of the great things in BookTube for both you and I is just like the like kind of puzzle piecing of like scheduling things and getting everything all together and coming up with ideas and like just the creativity of it is so
I
fun. So
love that part.
yes. So
Mhm.
anybody that's watching, if you ever want to start a channel, just do it because yeah,
Mhm.
if I mean, I was thrilled when 100 and then like 500 and I mean, every milestone, it doesn't matter how many people watch you. It's just
Mhm.
really fun to do it. So
Right. And it can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. You can do everything on your phone. I think Heather from Hey BookTubes, I can never
I can't either. I can't either.
She does
But
everything on her phone. I think
yeah.
Jen the Book Refuge, who has like over 5,000 subscribers. She does everything on her phone too.
Yeah.
And I think she maybe has some lighting and stuff, but you really, I mean, you could use natural light, just use
Yeah.
your phone, prop your phone up on something. You don't even need a stand, or
Yeah.
you can like go all out and get everything if that's what brings you joy. Because
Yes.
to me, that's what brings me joy is the planning. Like you said, that's the biggest part. Like when I started my blog, I was so excited because I know some coding and everything, like HTML and stuff, and graphic design is a thing that I went to school for.
It's
So
a thing.
it's a thing.
Yeah.
So like just building the website and everything was really
Yeah.
exciting, like my
Yeah.
logo and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
then also just I get very particular with how I plan blogs and videos and
Yeah.
Instagram and everything. I have everything color coded and
Yep.
very
So, okay. So do you bullet journal?
yes,
You
I do.
do. How did you get into that?
So I got into it a while ago. I think I just saw some like pictures on Pinterest or something. I was
Mhm.
like, no, it was Tumblr because I follow like a quarter of Mist and Fury and a quarter of
Uh-huh.
Bunch of Roses like
Yeah.
fan accounts. But then I started seeing like bullet journal accounts. I was like, that is so pretty. But then I tried to do it the way that people like super artsy and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
this is way too much time. Also, I
Yeah.
changed my mind a lot, and you can't
Yeah.
like once it's written in there, it's like you
It's in
have to
there.
white
Yeah.
out or
Yep.
erase,
Yep.
messes everything up. So I do most of it digital, but I have brought some of it more in like in a physical one. But I have everything, like I have a certain planner for this and a certain planner for
Yeah.
that. I've
I
kind of got it all prepared.
I want to do that, but I know I would fall down the rabbit hole and I would get in deep and then I would be like bitter that I can't spend a lot of
I
time on
know
it.
that's the thing. Like if you don't have a lot of time to spend on it, it's like it's very sad. It's not
Yeah.
being
It's
able to
like
do
I just want to color in my bullet journal, please.
it.
Like,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So how did you get into romance?
How did I get into romance? Oh, you know what? When I was reading a lot of like YA and YA
Mhm.
fantasy and paranormal,
When
and
you were a teen?
when I was a teen. So,
Yeah,
well, when I was younger, I read like
yeah.
Goosebumps, super into like
Sure.
kid horror, like
Hmm.
Goosebumps. And then I went to Fear Street and I was reading like Sweet Valley High and
Yeah.
Babysitter's Club, all that stuff.
Hmm.
And then I moved into more like paranormal and everything. And I didn't realize at the time as I was reading those that what I would like the most about them was the romance aspect of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so just randomly one day, I think it was like 16, 17, I was at the library looking for new books and I ended up finding like this YA contemporary romance collection of books.
Oh,
And I'd never read anything that was straight contemporary romance.
yeah.
And so I picked up the first book and then I ended up reading every single one. There was like a whole
Yeah.
shelf, that whole
Yeah.
aisle. I read them all. And then I just from there started reading like YA contemporary romance.
Hmm.
And it really wasn't until I was in my early to mid 20s that I picked up my first adult romance and then
Uh-huh.
downhill from there. It's all
Yeah, yeah. And then like Kindle Unlimited came and it was like
yeah.
there's a million and a half things.
Yeah.
Have you read Paperback Crush?
I don't think so.
You
Mm-mm.
should check that out. I don't have it. I got it from the library, but it's a basically like the history of YA, but it's very nostalgic for if you read Fear Street and
Oh,
Sweet Valley High and Babysitter's Club and like all of the like 80s and 90s
uh-huh.
YA.
Oh,
Like
I see it. Okay.
it's very nostalgic and it's got lots of pictures and it's fun.
Oh
It's
my,
I mean just kind of yeah, it's a walk down memory
that's
lane for
right up my
sure.
alley.
Yes.
Like when I told you I was writing short stories when I was younger, I wrote this theory.
Yeah.
Like I was because I used to read Goosebumps, so I wrote this series and it was like a 5-part series called the Midnight Madness Club.
Yes.
And it was
I
like
love
it was like
that.
a horror kind of thing.
That's so
And like
funny.
I just had like big dreams of like making it into a movie. And it was
Yeah.
it was so
Hey, dream big, girl. You can do it. You can
fun.
do it. And so one of your bucket list items was to write a book, and you have done so.
Mhm.
Are you going to write anymore?
I will write more, I'm sure, because it's like kind of cathartic to me. And sometimes
Mhm.
like when I have a story that's like playing in my head, I have to get it out.
Yeah,
It's like necessary. And that's kind of how that book was. I don't think I'll publish anymore though.
really.
I don't care if people read it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Like, and I especially don't want people to read it just because they like me or want to support me. Like,
right,
if you watch my videos, that's support enough. If you like an
right,
Instagram post, that's fine. Like,
right,
don't feel like you have to buy my book. I
right.
honestly did that just so I can be like, my book is on Amazon, my book is on
Yes,
Scribd, and
yes.
just check that off my bucket list. And I've done it, and I'm done. I'm done now.
Okay, so why don't you write a book under a pen name?
Well, I mean, like Bree Lauren kind of is a pen name. Lauren's obviously not my last name.
Right.
So
But I
I mean,
mean, like something
like a
that nobody would know.
completely different pen
Yeah.
name. That's true. I guess I could. I don't know. I mean, it's just
I
not something I
yeah.
maybe if in the future I really, really find a need to, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would be curious. Um, so what are some of your favorite tropes in romance?
I love, what do I love? I love the virgin hero. Like any
Mhm.
hero who, and I guess he doesn't necessarily have to be a virgin. I think the reason why I like virgin heroes are the heroes who are just in awe of the heroine, like who, if the
Mhm.
heroine like opens him up to a new world of some sort
Yeah.
and he like is in awe of her and, just thinks that worships the ground that she walks on and thinks that
Yes.
she's the most amazing thing ever. I think that's why I like, especially Archer's voice, because that has all of that.
Okay.
Like he's just completely enthralled by her.
Yeah.
And, especially like, not only is he attracted to her, but she also feels the same way about him and no one else ever felt that way before.
Yes.
I love that aspect of it.
Well, and like you're a big fan of the grovel.
Oh yeah. Give me
Yes.
all the gravel.
And I think like a man who can set aside his ego and like set aside all of his things for her is so appealing. Like,
Yes.
and reading about that is just the crux of romance. Like that
Mhm.
to me, that is romance.
Right. I
Yeah.
also love when like the hero has been in love with the heroine for a long time, but she has absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
And it's not super obvious, especially if he's a little bit grumpy. Like I'm thinking of like, because I've just binged Bridgerton. So like
Uh-huh.
how Simon is very much, like very standoffish and you can't really tell how in love with her she is at first, but then all of a sudden he's like, I burn for you. And like,
Oh
and you're just
yeah.
like, what?
Wait, be still my heart. Yeah,
Exactly.
love it. I have not read any of that or watched it. Have you watched them now? The
I
Bridgerton?
watched them all. Oh yeah.
You
I only
did?
read the first book, but I watched the whole series.
I am so like not a fan of historical, especially like that Regency time period, just because I feel like I don't know enough about it that I like spend too much time getting like caught up in who's a duke and what's the
Right.
hierarchy
Like
of
the world building. I think you
yes,
and I have talked about this before. Like the world building is what put me off of historical romance for
yes,
a while because I was like, I don't understand. Like, what is
yes,
the Duke even? But
yes,
I would say like try if you do ever want to get into it, try like Tessa Dare because
yeah,
there's like no real world building and her characters are very modern. And
yeah.
like I just feel like and like the Ray cast is good by Scarlett Peckham. That's really good, especially
Okay.
if you like the simpering little like virginal heroines who are
Mhm.
naive
Oh,
and
oh
that's
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
annoying too. But yeah, Tessa Dare is really good about not getting lost in like the world
The
building.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and that's where I'm wondering, like, if I watched the Bridgertons and then read it, if I would like it better. Like maybe do it
Maybe.
that way so I can like see who's who and then read it. But I saw that like on Amazon, you can't even get the Bridgerton books right now. Like
Oh, really?
there was some article that they are like sold out
Wow.
everywhere. Yeah. It's like
That's
good for
insane that
her,
holy cow.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those books are old and yet she's clearly making bank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, what are some of your least favorite tropes?
I don't like bully
Mm,
romances. I don't like romance, especially if because like the grovel thing.
yeah,
Usually in bully romances, especially like new adult bully romances, they never grovel enough. If you're
yeah,
gonna be horrible, like I could almost be okay with a hero being horrible if he grovels like no one else.
yeah, yeah.
Like, crawl on the ground and grovel after.
Yes,
But
yes,
bully romances rarely do that, and I'm like I
yeah,
don't like you. Like I just don't like you now.
yes. Yeah, it's really hard to like ship a romance when the guy is like so unlikable.
Or
Yeah,
if the girl puts up with it, I'm like, girl, mm-mm.
yeah, yeah, yep. Especially as the mom of girls, like I have found myself even more like, nope, I've got to
Yeah,
have some strong heroines
yep,
for
exactly.
sure. Is there anything you won't read?
Um, problematic authors like
Yeah,
Megan March, and I probably will never pick up a J.K. Rowling book.
yeah, yeah.
So
Have you read Harry Potter?
I read the first one and I didn't like it. I
Yeah,
wanted to get into the Harry Potter
yeah.
world so bad because the fandom is so amazing. I
Mm,
mean, I think I told you this last time, we live like 2 hours away from Harry Potter world. And I'm like,
right.
man, can you imagine if it was like a fandom that you're obsessed with and there was a whole
Yes.
world you could go to?
Yes. I
But
know.
I just never got it.
I'm hoping that like the Nevermore series, however many it ends up being, will be like the new Harry Potter,
Mhm.
that we can kind of replace some of that. But
Mhm.
I'm kind of the same. I'm like, I was kind of indifferent towards the series, and then now I'm like, all right,
Super no. Yeah.
yeah, no, no, but it's not a huge loss. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I
yeah.
feel bad for people who are obsessed with that series and like that like got them through some hard times and stuff because I
Mhm.
know there are people like that and then now you have to deal with this awful
Yeah.
author.
Well, and I feel like that series really like brought people to reading, and also kind of bridged the gap for people that are like my age ish, that
Mhm.
they came out like into elementary, early middle school, and reading started to be not cool. That
Mhm.
like then Harry Potter was cool. And
Right.
so it kind of bridged that gap. But um yeah, I feel like authors need to have editors on their social medias.
Right.
Like,
Like give me a
I feel
person.
like there should be no direct talking to anybody, because
I
it's
agree.
like
You're a
you
public figure like that.
yeah, yeah,
I don't
no.
know that she's so adamant about it. I don't know that
Yeah,
anything can silence her.
yeah, no, which
Yeah, it's
sorry.
almost like to me, it's like thank you next. Like you have to just be
Exactly.
like, okay, thank you for
Exactly.
the memories. I appreciate that you brought this book into the world. You
Yes.
can go now.
Yes. 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 So, who are some of your favorite authors?
Let's see who see it like ebbs and flows, but I think Autumn Gray is probably going to be one of my
Okay.
favorites. Brittany C. Cherry, as you know,
Mhm.
you read a bunch of her books.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Mariana Zapata will always be
Yes.
a favorite. If we're
That's
going
who I
like,
equate with
yeah,
you. Like
oh yeah,
Mariana
that's
Zapata.
and then Lauren Rowe is another
Yes.
one who I'm obsessed
Yes.
with. And oh, there's one more. And oh, Trisha Wolfe. If you're going like dark, then Trisha
Okay.
is my favorite dark rom.
What kind of things does she write? Trisha
She
Wolf.
writes super dark. So she wrote the romance that's between a serial killer and the criminal psychologist, and it is
Oh,
like dark, super.
okay.
And then yeah, she writes a lot of serial killers.
Oh, really?
I interviewed her because we read it for my little book club that I have with my mom and my sisters,
Yeah.
and she came like visited us via like Zoom or whatever. This
Right.
was a few months ago, like way before pandemic. And I talked to her, and my first question was like, "Are you a serial killer? Because you write really well, and I'm just a
Yeah.
little concerned."
Yeah. Like, how do you get in that mindset?
No,
And
exactly.
like, can you interview serial killers? Like, is that a
I
thing?
don't know. I
I,
think so. I know the way she researched it was she has a friend who's a criminal psychologist. So
okay.
so she talked to someone who talks to serial killers and stuff.
Okay.
So she like got a lot of that stuff. But I think you just got to get like dig down deep into the darkest recesses of your mind to be because
Yeah.
she like writes from a serial killer's point of view too. And
Interesting.
it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a romance in it and it's like obviously super forbidden and it's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
good.
know about that.
I don't know if you should read it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
think
not
I could do
recommend
it.
it to you.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it. Like, that would freak me out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not a nighttime book anyway. Maybe like summer, daytime, sunshine, maybe, but not likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say skip
Yep.
it.
Yep. So what do you wish there was more of in the publishing world? Or is there anything?
Disability rep and chronic
Yeah.
illness rep for sure. We talk about diversity a lot, and obviously, yes, we absolutely need more people of color to be in like BIPOC people, absolutely to be in publishing, to have characters, to have representation,
Yes.
authors, all of that. But I think also we sometimes forget about the disability rep when we talk about diversity.
Hmm.
So that would be one that I'm like very, I would love to see much more of that because actually recently I've been trying to find more books by not just by disabled authors, but even just have disabled characters in it or characters with chronic
Hmm.
illness in it. And it's really hard to find. There's not.
Well, and my thoughts on that are, I wonder if it's because it's so easy to do wrong.
It is
That you, because there's some of it out there that is just straight up offensive,
right.
that is people who don't
Ableist.
know what they're talking about, and
Mhm.
that try to do it and don't do it well, and then end up being really hurtful. And
Mhm.
so I wonder if that's the lack of it is because it almost needs to be on voices or very heavily researched.
I think if we had more disabled and chronically ill people in publishing, then
Yeah,
they could help with that. And
for
that's what
sure.
sensitivity readers are for and all of that.
For
So,
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think, and there, especially in this little corner of the internet where it's us romance people, like when I started talking about my multiple sclerosis, when I started talking more about it publicly, I had so many people contact me who read
Yes.
romance, who like, and watch me, which is even smaller,
Right.
that have disabilities and have chronic illnesses, or even if it's mental health issues and everything, they
Right.
contacted me because they're like, they just saw a lot of themselves in me and saw
Right.
a lot of the struggles that I'm going through or things that they're going through. And then, you know, we had that sick chicks chat, bookish
Yeah.
chat, where a few of us with a bunch of different chronic illnesses talked about them and answered questions. And there were so many people that contacted us after that,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that are dealing with the same thing. So they're out there. We're out here.
Yes. Well,
Just
and even things like infertility that is done so often in books, like that is done so often and so often wrong. And when we talked about that in the Book Sisters, there were tons of people in the comments too that were like, could relate. And
Mhm.
that, I don't know why sensitivity readers and stuff aren't better at that, but like even things like food intolerances, like
Right.
everybody, I mean, it seems like there's never a character with a food intolerance or some sort of diversified diet for some reason, like,
Mhm.
and
That would, you know, I never thought about that. That would be awesome to read about as someone who has a
uh,
very different diet.
right, like that not everybody can just go grab pizza and a beer and like it's not just, I mean, which it doesn't need to be like this storyline about somebody's food intolerance. It just needs to be a part of their character because
Right.
it's
That would
so
be, I
common.
think about that a lot. I feel like I see a lot of like them eating all these like completely unhealthy things I could
Yeah,
never eat.
sure.
Like I
Yeah,
see a lot of characters doing that. And I know that's like to, I don't know, make it comfortable for other
right.
people and everything. Like it's okay if you're not on a strict diet. And sometimes diets can be triggering
100%.
too.
Yes.
They like have a lot of issues like eating
Right.
disorders and stuff that can be
Right.
really tricky.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would love to see that in a book. Just
Or
someone who
just
has
like
something a
gluten
little.
free, like a celiac,
Yeah.
I mean, just somebody who has something as just a part of their character. I think
Mm-hmm.
it would be really helpful to see, and again, just help people to see themselves in characters.
See, that's one thing that I loved about The Wall of Winnipeg in me, because Aiden, the hero, who's like this big, huge football player, he's
Mm-hmm.
vegan.
Oh,
And so she would make him like vegan meal because she's his assistant. So she would make him like vegan meals and stuff all the time. And he was like very strict on his vegan diet, but he was still a big guy and was like one of the best NFL players, but he was on a
yeah.
vegan
And
diet.
I guarantee somebody's thinking, but where does he get his protein? Like, I have gotten that question
Because protein does
so
not come from
many
anywhere
times.
but meat.
Nope, nope. And like, I mean, there's like Tom Brady and all sorts of different people that are vegans that are top athletes. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it would be interesting to see just more of that, I think.
Mhm. I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. I never thought about that.
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite books of 2020?
Favorite books. Oh my gosh, I haven't put together my list yet, and I'm so scared because I read so many good ones. But I think I'm going to say the Bergman Brothers series. I am
Okay.
so obsessed with it, talking about
Yeah.
disability rep and everything.
Yeah.
But not just that, like I would love it just for the disability rep, but I love it for the romance too.
Mm-hmm.
So I read the first three books. The third book is coming out January 12th, I believe. And I got
Okay.
an arc for it from NetGalley.
Yeah.
But holy crap. And it's such like this series is such a diverse, like it has a bunch of different tropes too.
Yeah.
So like first one, the hero is deaf. He got meningitis when he was like in college. And I'm trying to remember the names of them. It's like Ever After Always, Always Never Yours, and something else, but it's Bergman Brothers series.
Yeah.
But
That's by Chloe Leese.
yes, Chloe
Yeah.
Leese. He used to play soccer, and then the heroine is a soccer player, and that one's like enemies to lovers,
Mm-hmm.
and that one was super super cute. And then the next one has rheumatoid arthritis rep, and she is also autistic. The
Okay.
heroine is,
And
then
Chloe Leese is
she's
somewhere on the
autistic.
spectrum, I think. Yeah.
Mhm. And yeah, so then the hero is like this big cinnamon roll hero. He's a virgin hero too, but he's also this big hockey player, but he's like the
Okay.
sweetest. And he's like,
Yeah.
he loves Shakespeare, and it's just absolutely freaking adorable. And then the third one is a marriage in distress one, and the hero is
Yes.
dealing with severe anxiety. And
Yes.
oh my gosh, I related so much to that.
Yes.
It was so well done.
Yeah. Do you think those have to be read in order?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could,
the other characters come up, but they don't have to be read in order.
yeah, because I read the first one and liked it but didn't love it.
Mhm.
And then the second one has some appeal, but like I'm thinking I might just skip to the third one because that one I
like
really want to read. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
for
good.
sure. What are some of your least favorites?
Um, the guy on the right was pretty disappointing. I mean, here's the thing is I read a lot of stupid books.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
just read Kissing the Coronavirus because I wanted to get to 350, and
yeah.
then I accidentally got to 351 for books that I read this year, and I hate my
Yeah.
life, but we're not going to talk about that. It's
Yes.
a sore subject.
Yes. I hate that because you either need to be 352 to get one a day or
Right.
350 to be that even number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's okay. But I read Kissing the Coronavirus and that was ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
also read a book called Seated by Santa. So I mean, but I mean like those going into it, they're gonna be dumb. So
Yeah. Yeah.
expect it. The guy on the right, I thought I was gonna love it. And I ended up
Yeah.
giving it 2 stars. So I really super didn't like that one.
That is the worst.
Mhm.
Do you do TBRs? Like, how do you feel about TBRs?
I
Yes.
do TBRs. I like that. I'm a mood reader, but I
Yeah.
like TBRs because sometimes when I don't know what to pick up next, I like
Mhm.
to have a narrowed down
Yeah.
list of
Yeah.
books that I know that I want to read soon. Because sometimes I
Yeah.
forget. I forget
Yes.
the books that I wanted to read. So I always pick the books that I know I want to read soon. And I also, for my TBR, I usually have JT pick a book for me and my girls pick a book for me. I have a TBR jar. So it's a little more randomized, but it's all stuff from my bookshelf. So
Yeah.
it's like into books that I already own because otherwise I would forget about them.
Yeah.
Like I would have never read Autumn Gray if Rory hadn't picked that book for me for
Oh,
one of my
really?
TBRs. Yeah. And like, so I found a lot of books. And I think The Shadows Between Us was one that I picked from my TBR jar. And that's one of
Yeah.
my favorites of 2020.
Yeah.
So I've had some good stuff come from TBRs, but I still like am a moody reader. Like I don't strictly stick to that unless I'm doing like a readathon or something.
Hmm.
I usually will try and stick to a
Yeah.
TBR, but for monthly, I usually just mood read. And then if I don't know what to read, I'll go to that TBR list that I made.
Okay. So you're not like super upset if you don't get your whole monthly TBR done. Yeah.
No, and sometimes I don't, and sometimes I'll carry those books over, or sometimes I won't, and it's
Yeah.
not really a big deal to me. The only time I get upset with myself if I don't do it is for a readathon,
Yeah.
because to
Hmm.
me, like that's like sprinting. It's like
Yes.
I want to
Yes.
get as many done as possible.
And it's like for that, you're setting a goal, you're meeting challenges, like you need to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I agree. And I'm asking that question because I want to know what works for me because I have been like anti TBR forever. But then
Mhm.
I've had a lot of days lately where I finish something and then I'm like, I'm just overwhelmed. There's too much to pick from. Like, I need like a monthly selection of like 40 books or something that
Mhm.
I won't get to them all, but like to
Mhm.
know, like you said, to just kind of have some more options and
Right. Like I would almost say like have like a TBR ASAP book
mhm,
like
yeah,
list,
yes,
and then from that list pick like 10 for the month
yes,
or 5 for the month that you
yeah,
can just have on reserve.
yeah,
And then you can be like, well, I don't know what to read. Let me just look at this list and I'll grab one from there.
yeah. Do you DNF, especially books you own? Do you
Yes.
DNF them?
Oh
You do.
yeah, I do mess the hell out
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any like you have to read this much or just if you're not liking it,
It
you're not liking it?
depends. Sometimes I can tell right away that something's not for me.
Hmm.
Maybe it's the writing style or it's something that immediately happens in the beginning of the book. Sometimes I've DNF'd things that are like I'm 150 pages into it.
Yeah.
If I am like 80% done with it, I'll usually finish it
Yeah.
just because I
Power
put that
through.
effort
Yeah,
into it.
for sure. Yeah.
But otherwise, I DNF a lot just because like there's so many great books to read. Why would I waste my
Hard.
time on books
Yeah.
I don't like?
I know. Yeah. It's hard. And I'm getting better about that. But I
Mhm.
like was trying to make end of the year list, which did you do Vlogmas?
No, no,
You
no.
didn't.
Uh-uh.
I did, and I feel like now I'm like the end of the year videos will maybe come out at the end of January
Mhm.
because I'm just like
I don't blame you. I bet you're burnt
I
out.
can't even be bothered. But so I was making lists and I DNF 7 books this year, and I'm like that needs to be more because I
Yeah,
read
that's
some
a lot at all.
junkers. Yeah.
How many books did you read this year?
353, I think, which
Oh my
is also frustrating. Like I
God.
except I
So
wanted
close
to
to 355.
I wanted to hit 352
Huh?
and then I think I got one over. I don't know. I just wrote my last review today for because we're filming this January 1st. So the
Mhm.
year just ended. So it's my goal to do all that figuring today. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think 353, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Like
So
mine
7 out of 353 is not bad. That's
no.
like not at all. I don't know how
Not a
many
lot.
total. I'll have to look and see how many I.
But I can DNF if I don't own it, but if I own it, I'm like I either spent money on that or somebody gave it to me or like there's like this whole guilt factor that comes in. Whereas if it's like something or even like now that I've kind of started doing library hauls, I'm
Mhm.
like but somebody, yeah, a lot of people will comment on different books. And so then I'm like, I need to read that. I took it out and people are waiting, like people are expecting this. So I don't know.
I know it's hard. But see, that's more you reading for other people rather than reading for
100%.
yourself. It's hard to like your mindset.
I'm 100% the queen of shoulds. Like I need to get back. That should be my 2021 goal.
Yeah, there you go.
No more shoulds. What are you currently reading?
I am not currently reading anything actually, because yesterday I finished up all the books. Like I finished the vlog that I was doing for reading my dad's books. I read freaking Kissing the Coronavirus and then one more like super short book because I was trying to get to 350 and got one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually trying to catch up on booktube videos because I got so behind with the Vlogmas. Yeah. That's why I think I commented on one of your videos today. It's probably from like 8 weeks ago.
Seriously. I know.
Through these videos. So I think I'm going to spend today just watching booktube videos.
I love that. Yeah, I need to do that too. So like now, how are you going to pick your next book?
See, I feel like there's so much pressure, and I blame Tori from Novel Life for putting pressure. She didn't put pressure on me, is that she's putting pressure on herself because she purposely was saving the second book in the Bergman Brothers series for it to be her first read of 2021.
Okay.
She had RA too, and I had told her about the book. I was like, there's RA rep in this. But now I'm like, because she was like, yeah, I want that to be my first read of 2021. I was like, crap, I should make my first read of 2021 something special.
Epic. Yeah.
I know. So now I'm probably not going to read anything for like the rest of the week.
Yeah, I know. I especially like December, I had junkers, and in fact, like Steph is doing the favorites of December or whatever, and I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I don't know. And I read something last night that was like almost a 5-star, and then I picked up a book this morning and it is like, like I think I'm starting and ending with 5 stars, which is crazy. Yeah, it's so exciting. It like reinvigorated me.
That's good.
Well, are you ready for the rapid fire this or that?
I think so.
Okay. Ebook, audiobook, paperback, back or hardback?
Audiobook.
Oh, is that your favorite?
It's my favorite just because I can do other things while I'm doing it.
Yeah. Buy or borrow?
Buy.
For physical books?
Like, yeah, because I like writing books and stuff too. So and I like steal books from people. So like if you borrow a book.
You're that friend.
I'm that friend.
You're that friend. You're the reason I label my books.
Do not let me borrow any of your books.
Oh, that's funny. Quiet or background noise?
Background noise.
I feel like as a mom, like quiet's just not an option. So you just use the background noise. Yeah.
But honestly, I like background noise. Like I'll listen to music with lyrics and everything. Football's on, I'll read a book.
Well, yeah, you and I have talked about that. Like our ideal fall day is like watching football in the background and reading, and yep.
You have the kids playing around you, just your family around, but not really.
Yes. Not needing you, but like in the vicinity. Yes. Indoor or outdoor?
Oh, indoor.
Yeah.
I don't nature and I don't get along very well. Like it's pretty, I'll look at it, but like from inside. I'll look at it. I don't want creepy things.
Yes. I know. Like I am very much like I'm a runner, but I love like street running and sidewalk running, not like wilderness running or like trails. I don't like extreme trails. And my oldest daughter, she because my husband's a farm kid, and so like his family is always like, hey, come play in the grass, hey, come do this, and my oldest daughter is like, what's that? And I'm like,
my girls my girls get like so dirty, they run around outside in the backyard and get dirty. And then my youngest, there was one time she brought in a freaking dead beetle. And I was trying not to freak out because I didn't want her to freak out. Yeah. I was like, she's like, Mama, look, his legs come off. But I'm trying to play it cool the whole time.
Like the hairs on my arms are standing up right now. Like I wasn't sure. I actually wanted boys, I think. But now I'm like, no, I am definitely a girl mom.
Me too. Like I thought for sure when we had kids that I was gonna have boys. Nope. And like after Rory, I was like, please have a girl, please have a girl. Like I can't.
Yes, yes, I know, I know. And now, yeah, it's like prior to my first, I was like, I would love just a house full of boys. Like I can deal with that, like the rough and tumble. And then now I'm like, I hope we never have a boy. If we continue to have kids, like my girls are good. Ugh.
Yeah.
Um, Meet your favorite author or your favorite character.
Favorite character.
I think for me too, because like that whole thing we were talking about, like authors can be crap people. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to know. I
Exactly.
especially my favorites, like I've built them up as these awesome people. So let's just
Mm-hmm.
pretend they are.
Yeah, like don't let me down.
Yeah, right. Book to film or book to TV show.
Book to TV show because you have more time
Yeah.
to tell the story and you don't have to cut as much out.
Yeah. Does it bother you if they take like some artistic liberty?
Not usually if it makes sense. If it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, I'm like, why? Why change that? It doesn't make any
Yes.
sense. But if it makes sense, I understand.
Yeah. I love
Mhm.
it when the author is like involved in the process of
Mhm.
whatever it is.
I think sometimes it's helpful to watch like interviews and stuff with the author so you can understand
Mhm.
why they did certain things
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Big Little Lies. Did you ever read or watch that?
Mm-mm. No.
The first season, I think, is like pretty close to the book. I mean, there's one big thing that is like big different, and I really hated that. But then I think it had a second season that they are like, this is not the book. Like we are
They're just
doing
like flat
this.
out
Yeah,
telling you.
this
Yeah.
these characters are going in a direction that is not the book, and
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
Right.
Backlist or new releases,
Backlist.
indie or traditional,
Indie for sure.
no new books or no rereading.
No rereading, I guess. I have FOMO. Like I'd be afraid that I'd be missing some good books.
Yeah. Are you a big rereader?
I used to be, but actually I haven't been much of one lately. I think because I used to get really slumpy, and so I would always reread, but I haven't really been slumpy lately, knock on
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, right. Well, and again, like just the FOMO and all of that of like rereading, it almost feels like wasting time, even though it's 100% not. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But I think because I have such a huge TBR, I have so many books that I want to read. When I
yes.
reread a book, I'm like, ooh, but
Yeah,
what book is amazing that I'm missing out
yes.
on because I keep rereading the
Yes.
same
And
books.
and again, like my favorite books, I'm like, I don't want to, what if they're not as good? But
Right, that's true.
I don't
And
know.
you never feel the same way reading the first time you read a book, you'll never feel
Yes.
that way.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yep. Yep.
yep.
Bree Hill, she's actually watching Sex in the City for the first time right now. And I'm like,
Really?
yes. I'm like, that is another thing. Like I'll rewatch it occasionally, but I'm like,
Mhm.
you can't watch that for the first time ever again.
I
Yeah,
love Sex and the
I
City
do too.
and
And
Gilmore Girls. Those are my two favorites.
yes, yes. Both of
Mhm.
those, I think, I binged
Mhm.
at some point in life. And so like just remembering back to that time too of like being able of binging and yeah, good times. Same with
Yep,
books. It happens.
exactly.
Standalones or series.
Standalones?
Okay.
I think even though some of my favorite books are series, but I like standalones. I get sick of series after a while.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a sweet spot in number of books in a series?
I think ideally it's a duology. Like let's not
Yes.
do more than two. Some of my favorite series are actually duologies.
Yes.
But there are some series that are like 8,000 books long that are fine,
Yeah.
but I think at some point they start to burn out. I think maybe if we're because a duology is different than a series obviously. So
Right.
I think three is probably three
Yeah.
or four.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think anything like a lot of these like romance series that are like 20, 30, etc. books,
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Although a lot of those are like companion series, but
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Like Pucked, I love Pucked, and that has like a bunch of books in it, and that's fine. But
yeah,
ideally, it would be like three.
yeah.
Mhm.
Solo or book club?
Solo,
Coffee
yeah,
or tea?
tea.
What's your favorite snack?
Oh my gosh, you asked me this last time. I said an apple, and it was the dumbest answer.
I love apples, especially because of the dippability of
I
apples.
see, well, because like it's just so easy to grab and eat, and
Yes,
I like have to cook everything. But I
yes.
actually have been loving guacamole. I can't have guacamole with tomatoes or jalapenos in it, so I
Okay,
make it with just like fresh garlic, onion, lemon juice, and then avocados. But
okay.
I love guacamole with like radishes and carrots, and then there are a couple of like those chips. What's that brand that you and I like?
The shoot.
I forget.
Simple Mills? Is it
Simple
Simple
Mills,
Mills?
yes.
Yes.
So there are a
Yes.
couple of Simple Mills chips that I can have with
Yes.
those, and then a couple of
Yes.
grain-free tortilla chips. But
Yeah.
I've been like, I'll have that for like a meal. I'll just make a
Yes.
huge thing of guacamole and eat that as a
Yeah.
meal.
Yes. I know, like, I don't know if you can do many of these, but 7-layer dip, like just making a big thing of 7-layer dip and being
Mhm.
like, all right, everybody have at it.
I can make a version of that because I can
Yeah.
make like the guacamole out and like maybe ground some beef or
Yeah.
something. I could probably make something that's
Yeah.
a great idea. I'm gonna
Yes.
do that.
Yes. You know what we did last night was fondue. Have you ever done fondue?
Love fondue. I can't have cheese, but I love
Well,
fondue.
I made a vegan version because we don't
Oh,
eat cheese either. But I don't know if you could have all the elements, but I made it and then just like set out a bunch of stuff and was like, go for it. Except I did put the kids in their own bowl because that
well,
freaks
yeah.
me out. Like
I don't blame
I
you.
don't I
That's a
don't
great
need
idea.
that.
You know what my girls like is charcuterie platters.
Yeah.
So they love, although I call it moosh moosh platters only
I
because I
was gonna
forgot what
say
they were
like
called.
charcuterie is so bougie that I'm
I
always
know.
like,
I forgot what it was called. So I'm like, who wants a moosh moosh platter? Because I couldn't remember. So, but the girls love it. And I'll just
yeah.
because they like pickles and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I'll just and they like salami and little lunch meats
Yes.
and a bunch
Yeah.
of fruit, whatever fruit I have. If I don't feel like making dinner, that's what I do. I just like whatever fruits and veggies and snacks that I have, just throw it
Yep.
all out in the platter and then we
Yep.
all have at it.
You know, we do that like every Sunday night and like Ainsley loves it. That's her
Mhm.
favorite night. And I give her a muffin tin. And so
Uh-huh.
she gets
Oh,
to
that's
fill
a
the
great
muffin
idea.
tins and she's like, muffin tin dinner.
You
So,
should start calling it a moosh moosh platter.
okay, I will. Yes, that is so funny. But that's, yeah, great ideas. I love that. And for the kids, it's so special. So
Yeah,
like
exactly.
for us moms, we're being lazy, but for the
Busy,
kids,
yeah.
they're like, yes. So win-win.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for doing this again.
Of course.
It was so fun both
I like talking
times.
to you. I don't care
Yes,
even if we
it
have
was
to do it a few more times.
it was very fun both times. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody go check out Bree. She's on all the things in Love and Words. She is wonderful. And I hope you have a happy new year.
Thanks, you
And
too.
congrats on 2 years.
Yay!
Yay.
Thank
Yay,
you.
yay,
How long have
yay.
you been on BookTube now? A year?
1 year. Yeah.
Yay.
December was 1 year. So
That's awesome.
exciting.
Yay
Yep.
us.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye.